Hey friends, 955 Matt. Coming up next, another edition of Trad Method Monday with Spawn and Peepo.
Hey guys, Peepo here, and today is Trad Method Monday. As you can see, I am singeing the ends of some cross lace here. Nice Carolina / sky blue that we got going on. Mainly to help differentiate string colors, but also because I like blue. But so, today is episode, should be episode 3 or 4. Either way, doesn't matter what number it is. This is the step that we're on, and that is to make the retention string for holding our pocket, our struts in place for the Shakedown. Okay, we've already in the last video I talked about. I should have talked about removing the 2 guiding leathers for the outside. If you haven't done that already, it doesn't really matter if you have or not at this point. Just make sure if you are not leaving the outer 2 leathers in to take them out when you're done with this part. But so pretty much what we're going to do is keep it very simple. You want a piece of cross lace that's for as far as 1/2 of the length. You want, let's see, from fingertip to about center of your chest or to your opposing shoulder is about that long, and then twice that. So arm span and a half is usually a good thing. So arm span, a little less maybe, but it's better to have more than not enough. So basically what's going on here is pretty simple. Let me get my shaft so that I don't have to keep moving this thing around. But so you want both ends of this string singed nicely, so nice and pointed. Okay. There's a couple different ways to do this, but we're gonna do the very lightweight, easy way to do it. So basically what you want to do is take one end of the string and feed it through the leather right here. See, fed it through, and then we feed it through to the other side, and then we pull through the excess and even it out. So you grab both tips and work. Oh, get that through there. But so you grab both tips of the string and even it out so that an even amount is on each side of the leathers. Now, before you did this, you want to make sure, before you go any further, you want to make sure that your struts are about evenly spaced, as if you were looking straight at the head. So looking straight at the pocket, you want your struts to be as evenly spaced throughout the head as possible. If you try and do even spacing just following the leathers, it's not going to turn out quite right. As far as performance, it might look right to you, but performance wise it won't function properly. So what we do next is we take one side and loop from the outside in and then through itself just below, make sure that's fairly tight, but just below the turnaround for the leather, so the attachment of the leather, whether you do a single loop for that or this style. You want it just below the leathers so that it locks in place. You want to do this to both sides, so from the outside in and then back around itself. Pull it up, and as you see, nice and even, real simple. Now if you really want to do anything crazy, from here what you can do is take another piece of colored string that goes with the color scheme or whatever, and wrap it around this coil it around this string right here, and then once you've completed this outer string for the retention, you can have that different color going down the middle. However you want to try and figure something out. I've done coil concepts and whatnot before, so it's pretty easy to go back through my videos and figure out what I'm talking about. But so then we want to do the same thing down just above. Try not to move the strut when you're doing this, but just above the strut, you want it all the extra stuff pushed through. As you can see, it looks like some madness going on here, sort of. And then now it's up to you whether or not it works better for you. You can continue the pattern of the knot, so outside to inside, or you can go inside to outside and have the knot look like this instead around the strut. Most of the time, if I'm doing just the single string like I'm going to for this one, I do it this way. But if I'm going to put another color in, I do it continuing the pattern of these first two knots here. But so since I'm going to do it this way, I'm going to continue it down this side. Remember, you want to make sure that none of the looseness is in there at all. Make sure you're constantly checking spacing for your struts so that they do not shift out of place while you're putting these retention strings in, or retention knots. Because if you screw it up, you screw it up. See? Nice and simple. The main thing about these retention strings is this really keeps the struts from moving, which enforces or secures your pocket's consistency. Your pocket doesn't want to shift around. It's kind of like the pocket shape is retaining itself, which is why I call it a retention string. So as you can see, you just continue this pattern all the way down, constantly making sure that you're paying attention to your struts and whatnot. And then when you get down to the bottom, I'll just jump down to the bottom real quick, but I'll have some pictures for you at the end here to show what I'm talking about. But so say we're jumping down all the way down to the bottom, just for example's sake. Jump all the way down to the bottom. Now, since if you guys have been following the same exact way, and maybe even the same exact head of how I've been doing this pocket, you take your string and you can feed it through the bottom hole, the actual bottom string hole, and tie it off however you feel works. Or you can feed it through this last sidewall hole that the guiding leathers were in. But if you're keeping it a 4 leather pocket, you want to obviously go through here, go through the middle holes here, and if you're doing another color going down the middle, you're obviously going to want to go through the center strings as well. And then you're just going to have a decent amount of color and knots at the bottom, so you want to be careful with that. I'm just going to leave it up to you guys at your discretion as to what types of knots you want to use. So fairly simple for that, nothing too complicated, very easy thing. And then remember, make sure you go back through and check your spacing as you go, and then go back and check it again. And then at this point, what you can do is, if you have a traddy tree or your ball and knife or whatever, you can take that out after you finish the retention string. You can take that out and you're pretty much done, except for shooters. But if you want to keep or have your shooting strings, which is the next video, want the shooting strings the right sort of whip and everything like that, I would suggest leaving it in, and I'll tell you more about that in the next video. So We'll move on to the picture segment, a little bit of music going, and otherwise we're pretty much done with this Trad Method Monday. So thanks for watching, guys, and if you want to be a part of my intros like these past few videos have had, all you have to do is email me a 5 to 10 second, maybe a little more longer video saying who you are, your Instagram, not exactly who you are, but your Instagram or Twitter handle as to who you are, and say this is such and such, you're watching Trad Method Monday, or you're watching a review by Pt.4, or another series that I have coming soon, or starting up soon again, is Lady Lace Up. So girls, or women, if there's anybody that wants to be the intro to a girls related video, any of you guys can put in and say, hi, this is such and such, and you're watching Lady Lace Up with Pt.4. Whatever works for you guys. So let's get to the picture segment, and I'll catch you guys later.